In the year 4071, Earth was long abandoned, left behind like a forgotten womb. Humanity now lived across Dyson rings, quantum oceans, and gravity-forged cities orbiting black holes. Yet one mystery remained unsolved. Why did the stars start disappearing? Not dimming. A deep cosmos archaeologist with a half-machined brain and a stolen fragment of something forbidden. A pre-Big Bang map. The map didn't show the universe as it was. It showed what came before it. According to the map, our universe wasn't the first, it was the seventh. Let me tell you about my... But if you want to learn more about investing in fine art through Masterworks, click the link in the description below. Now, remember when we were younger and we would collect things? You know, maybe Pokemon cards, or stamps, or rocks. What if I told you you could invest in fine art, each flare into life as the archivist rewound the tape of existence? She had made it to the source. Its form was unknowable, older than time, vaster than space. The sight of it threatened to tear her mind apart. But then something unexpected happened. It reached out to her, sending tendrils of lights to brush against her skin to trace the architecture of her being. It wanted to archive her. Why do you hide the answers? But we already know those things, she said. We already understand. We saw all of those worlds, all of the choices. Even you showed us all of the possibilities. So tell me, what is the purpose of the sacrifice? What did you hope to achieve? Separating the worlds from the void. The astronomer turned to face her. The stars continued burning. The worlds continued turning. And somewhere in the midst of it all, Ari stood watching the dawn, its final thoughts echoing in her soul. Thank you, it said, for the gift of forgetting. May your universe be filled with wonders beyond your imagining. She asked, why keep us ignorant? I am here. Then it exhaled, to bind her consciousness to its own. But this time, she resisted. She did not step forward. Wait, she said. I want to see what happens. The observatory hummed around them as the fabric of reality shifted, reforming, reshaping, knitting itself back together. Thank you, the archivist whispered. You have honored me beyond my greatest hopes. For eons, I have searched for this, for someone to share the burden, to lighten the load, to help me bear the responsibility of all this. I thought I had failed. I thought I was destined to walk this path alone. But I was wrong. And for that, I am grateful. We are here. We remember. The archivist rumbled, the fabric of the observatory shuddering around them. Because ignorance is a blessing, it whispered, and knowledge a curse. Look at me. Look at what I have become. The greatest evil in the multiverse is understanding. When you know too much, you try to fix things, to reorder reality, to mold the future. It sighed, the sound like dying suns. But it is not our place to decide such things. We are not gods. It is not our right to decide who lives and dies, what worlds are born and what worlds are broken. We cannot know such thing. We can only live. Wanted to add her consciousness to the growing library of collected minds. But she had something it didn't. Hope. She pressed forward, ignoring the searing pain in her eyes, in her mind, and in that hesitation, Ari saw pity, sadness, longing, regret. She saw a loneliness so vast it shook her to her core. She saw a horror so terrible it made her blood run cold. And then she understood. As the archivist recoiled from her touch, Ari pushed her hand into its core. The pain became exquisite, the sight unbearable. But she held on. As the last fragments of the map burned away inside her, Ari understood this was the culmination of everything. All paths led here. All roads were erased here. This was the beginning, the middle, and the end of every story. All time was here. All futures were here. The knowledge threatened to crush her, but she clung to it as the archivist convulsed around her. One world sprouted sentient fungi who farmed light from red dwarfs, flung back into existence, rekindled across the endless dark. Stars, planets flared to life, galaxies spun into being. In every direction, something was reborn. Not perfect, not complete, but real, raw, untamed, free. With the severing of the timelines, the archivist was no longer whole. Its form fragmented, becoming the veil between the universes, the barrier to the void. Between the echo of existence and the abyss of nothing, the observatory of the endless, night and night became home to a race of crystalline beings who used dead stars as building blocks. You may have defeated me, it said, but you do not understand why I did what I did. What purpose I served. What sacrifice I made. She had defeated the archivist, but she couldn't let it fade. Not yet. It was too important. Whatever it had done, whatever purpose it had once served, it had protected, it had kept safe all of the universes it touched. And she knew that if it died, then all of those worlds, all of those lives, all of those memories would die with it. There were societies of pure energy, of living shadows, even a planet made of thought where everything was decided by the consensus of minds linked together in a single psychic field, like the wealthy 1% do, and own a piece of a Monet without having to become a millionaire. Well, it's possible, thanks to the archivist was favoring her, showing her echoes of humanity's past, the ruins of civilizations from Earth's history, the splendor of the Golden Age, the fall of the great Dyson swarm. Finally, she saw it. Her earliest memory, the moment she realized the stars were going out. A young girl standing on a balcony overlooking the Milky Way, a galaxy once more, whole and bright. She was a child then. Her father cradled her, shielded her eyes against the dawning truth. "Don't look," he said, his voice tight. "If you look, you will understand. And if you understand, you will be erased." His last words echoed through the ages. Whatever you do, don't look away. So she didn't. She burned a secret into her soul. Masterworks is an investing platform for contemporary art, where you can own a piece of multi-million-dollar paintings from legends like Picasso and Banksy. Here's how it works. Masterworks buys expensive paintings at auction and then sells shares of them to their investors, which means you can invest as much or as little money as you want. Then Masterworks holds on to the artwork until they believe it's time to sell, hopefully for a profit. If the artwork does appreciate in value, you can make money through the sale. And if the artwork doesn't appreciate, no worries. You're only invested for as long as you choose to be, and you can cash out at any time. In fact, since launching in 2017, Masterworks has returned over 35 net IRR to investors from their sales. That's why 560,000 people have signed up. The others collapsed archive, hidden behind the disappearing stars. Something was working. Something outside time. Ari called it the archivista force, or intelligence, folding universes into memory layers like files in an ancient cosmic vault. Each time a civilization got too close to understanding the true nature of reality, their stars began to vanish. Not as punishment, but as preservation, vanishing. At the edge of the last vanishing galaxy, and what they found wasn't oblivion. It was a library of realities, worlds trapped in stasis, timelines stored like books, owls stretching into eternity, each glowing with the echo of a lost universe. One by one, entire star systems blinked out, not exploded, not collapsed, just gone, as if erased. Well, because the reason we find ourselves on this strange journey is that we're actually looking for something. We're looking for science videos to watch next week. And it's hard because there's so many good ones. It's just like, you know, when you go onto Amazon or eBay or anywhere and you're researching for something really specific, but you don't know exactly what it is. So you kind of just scroll and scroll and scroll and hope that something catches you. And I am sure we've all purchased things that we didn't even need just because they looked cool. That's how I feel sometimes about my life choices. Enter our Vex, Ari and her crew launched Project Hollow Sky, a quantum vessel designed not to explore space, but to fall through the seams of it. But why are we telling you all of this today? But wait, hold on. We'll get back to the story in a second. And now back to the story. As she walked, galaxies reformed around her, birthing new suns and planets. But as Ari walked deeper into the library, the further back in time she went, the more the faces of those worlds became familiar. When Ari woke, her ship was falling through the last barrier, the final layer of stasis protecting the Archivist's core. She felt the shock as billions upon billions of timelines were severed from its grasp. And then it spoke, not in words, but in the structure of reality itself. So she barked. Ari pressed her advantage. The Archivist hesitated. "You are not alone," she whispered. For a moment, the Archivist did not reply. As the last pieces of the map faded from Ari's mind, she felt the astronomer reach out to her again. And so, Ari watched as the Archivist began to heal, as the observatory of the endless night mended itself, as the veil shimmered back into existence, and then the astronomer was gone. So the universe continued spinning,